Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is a great occasion when we get a chance to have guests return to the show, and this particular lady did live up to her promise. Welcome back to the show, Rose McIver. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm well, thank you.
The last time we talked to you was right before iZombie started.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting you as season 2 is finishing.
What a journey it's been.
Bookends.
Yeah. No, we have our season 2 two-part finale, which is just very exciting. And we also know we're going into season 3, so
I know that's good
news all around.
It would really suck if you're doing this huge finale and then you're like, well, we're going to see what happens over the summer. And you're like, I need to know if I'm working.
And most of the time, that is what happens.
I know,
you just
TV's
live in the
fickle.
dark. So it's great to have had that going into the finale shoot. Everyone was in such a great headspace.
Well, so much to get into here. I mean, 2 seasons have gone by, and especially a lot of time since the last time we saw you. But I think the first thing I want to ask you is, are you sick of hot sauce at this point?
Absolutely not.
No?
I am more and more addicted. I'm a habanero person myself.
Okay. Oh, so you've upgraded.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you using real hot sauce on the show?
Sometimes, yeah, we use, it depends on what it's with. The cuisines can kind of speak to what you want. Like
Right.
If it's a turkey dish, you're more likely to want hot sauce. If it's like a creamy sort of a dessert sort of thing, you're not going to want that. So we go with corn syrup, which is pretty disgusting.
Well, at least it's
better.
not like something like Kool-Aid, you know, just so it
Exactly.
has the color, it looks good on TV, but it tastes horrible as you got to redo that scene. I've eaten this bowl 4 times.
Yeah, well, I do have a spit bucket too, so that comes in handy
Oh, wow.
for the exceptionally long days.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because it's become such a staple and an unusual zombie characteristic, because it was never in the traditional zombie lore that they ate anything but people.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are doing the half and half kind of thing where, like, well, they're not eating people. They still need to eat brains, but if they have to eat other stuff, there's got to be something that rekindles your dying taste buds there. I have to say, out of all the violent scenes that has been in this show and body part eating and what have you, I think the grossest scene for me was when Lieutenant Suzuki, right?
Yeah.
Poured it into his coffee in season 1.
Oh.
I'm like, that was worse than seeing the shotguns and people's skin being ripped off.
Funny what we've become accustomed to, isn't it? We
it
can
was so
watch
horrible.
people be shot and that be normal, and you see some brains and hot sauce and a coffee, and it's disgusting.
I was talking to some people who also watched the show, and I threw that question around. I said, I think it was that. And they're like, that's what you thought was disgusting? I was like, it was a quiet scene. He's at his desk, and he just slowly opens up. It's like a typical gumshoe detective kind of scene where he opens up the desk drawer and you're thinking, you know, usually they pull out a bottle of scotch to ease their nerves from the stress. And it's this big bottle of hot sauce that he pours into the car. And it was just something so disgusting about that combination that just really freaked me out.
Yeah, well, I'm into chili hot chocolate, so actually that wasn't too bad for me. You know, they make this beautiful chili hot chocolate.
Right. But you're not pouring it into the hot chocolate.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's already
true.
done
it's
for
done.
you.
Exactly. That bit is done. Well, that's an amazing particular concern of yours.
I know,
love
I'm
it.
weird like that.
I love that.
You know, the big finale, it's no spoiler to anybody unless you haven't seen the series at all, but the big finale to season 1, I mean, it was just a huge shootout and, you know, a blood fest and people falling into bandsaws and things like that. And I was like, okay, that didn't freak me out as much as that coffee scene.
That's what's a little concerning. And I know how to gross you out, so that's useful, to be honest. But yeah, there is certainly a lot of high stakes drama and action in the season finale, like the stunts and the gore and my hand that's hanging off my belt at all times. That was probably the grossest thing that I've seen, actually, is the end of the severed arm. Oh, that was pretty full on.
Let me ask you, you've been doing this for a long time now. How easy is it to go into the American accent?
That's one of the easiest parts for me. I think partially it's just having a good ear, but also just, I don't know, you've done it for long enough, and the American accent, we hear so much of it in New Zealand. It's not an unfamiliar accent for us,
Right.
so that's never been too difficult.
I think last time we talked to you about practicing and getting it down, and we also talked about the discovery that there's a lot of Australians and people from the UK doing these really almost iconic American roles, and most of the people have no idea that they're not American, but they nail the dialogue, they nail the impression down, and it's perfect.
But I think it's like, I mean, I grew up watching so many shows like The Simpsons or all these things. You just listen to it.
Me too.
Friends, all those things that you just hear over and over again, that accent, and it's so drilled into us. How many Americans have watched that much Kiwi television? That's why it's so much harder to do.
But I don't think there's much here.
Fly to the Concords. Fly to the Concords on repeat.
That gets a pass because it's not, I mean, I know it is, but everybody was so universally accepting to them when they came around. Plus they were doing their musical tour with it and everything. Everyone didn't even bat an eye twice that that they were from New Zealand. I'm just saying that, like, if you're flipping around the television and like the old BBC show Father Ted, the pre-show from Ireland, if you watch that, that is a direct import to this country there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I know, and we don't have. I mean, that's what I mean. We don't have many New Zealand shows that have sort of landed abroad, so I understand why people don't recognize the accent or aren't as familiar with the accent.
Right.
But I think if you had grown up watching a ton of them, it possibly people would be doing a much better accents here in the New Zealand accent. You know what I mean?
If someone was to seek that out, some New Zealand television, New Zealand program, what would you recommend?
A New Zealand television?
Yeah.
What would I recommend? There's an old show called Being Eve that was on.
Being Eve?
Being Eve.
Oh, Being Eve.
It was on for years. A lot of my friends were a part of it. That was a really awesome show. It won an international Emmy way back when. It was like a real kind of surprise hit. But there isn't a ton of New Zealand television. Outrageous Fortune is one other really great.
Is that a game show?
It's a show about like a bunch of bogan kind of like West Auckland, Westy sort of characters that live together, all ex-criminals trying to get away from the crime business. And that's a really good show that came out of New Zealand. But we make more films. I mean, we have a lot of great cinema, but television, I think we're still catching up.
Also, when we last talked to you, I asked you about public recognition for this role, that I thought you were going to be recognized all over the place once this thing came out and got really big. Now, the Comic-Con leading into the premiere of the show, there was a lot of anticipation for it. Now that it's 2 seasons have gone past, and you did Comic-Con last year, right, in San Diego, what has been the recognition now?
It's so exciting. I still don't get recognized because I look completely different, which is fantastic. I'm hopefully not
so you can go out and eat.
Pasty. Exactly. Yeah, nobody knows who I am. But what's interesting is seeing all the cosplayers, all the people coming as Livs. That's so exciting, and it's such a great character to dress as. And I've had girls, guys, older people, younger people, all sorts of people doing Liv cosplay. And I had a convention. We had WonderCon in LA. I
was just going to ask you about that because I saw that you retweeted some photos. Some of these people really put a lot of attention into their zombie costumes, having you pose with fake brains and bottles of hot sauce.
Oh, yeah, people bring it. And people are all really miffed that we haven't come out with a line of hot sauce yet, the iZombie hot sauce, which I'm way behind. I think that's great. I think we should do that. We should do a cookbook of Liv's recipes.
Oh my God.
So I'm like I'm just waiting for somebody to ask me to do it.
When in season 1, when they were at the meat shop, this I guess would fit in well with the cookbook. Every time they come up with this exquisite Italian cuisine, and then they just had to show the brain front and center. When you cook a lot of food, it gets mixed in and you don't know because it's in a red sauce or a clam sauce or something like maybe even like a ravioli. It's in the pasta. But they did such a great job of pointing out where the brain was in the food, and then the people just come, oh my God, this is amazing.
They would still just absolutely love it. I know the gourmet brain thing is so funny to me. It's become something that a lot of people, when we speak to people at conventions, we realize how many fans absolutely love that part of it, and seeing how Liv is going to prepare her food each week. So the pressure is on for our wonderful prop cook, Juno, our chef, to come up with more great stuff next season.
Do they have some kind of official consultant or something on the staff that comes up with the food ideas? Or if you're thinking of something, can you go kick it to Rob Thomas and say, hey, I just thought of this Hot Pocket idea with brains?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I could send ideas. I don't know if they listen to me anymore. I just harass them with ideas all the time. And they're like, Rose, go back to your job. Leave it to the 13 writers sitting in the writer's room. But the writers will bounce around a lot of ideas. And then, we have Juno, the chef on set, who is able to kind of... it was really telling. Bob Dearden, who's one of our writers, is a bachelor and clearly doesn't cook. He was like, he wanted to make a stir fry, and the stir fry had like just little bits of tomato and like beans, and just there were a bunch of things, but they didn't go together at all. And the chef got them on the note on set in the script and was like, why would anybody put these together? No, and had to like revamp it. So poor Bob's cooking ideas were out the window. I don't think he's got a future in it.
See, you have potential for the hot sauce. You just said the cookbook. There could also be some kind of, weird crossover to like the Food Network with Guy Fieri, Diners, Drive-Thru, and Dives. doing that, and then you're just doing all zombie food as a mock episode, maybe for Halloween going into the fall or something like that.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
CW, listen up. Look, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
You're not going to listen to her, so I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You need to do a Food Network crossover.
Come on, Rob. What have I asked you for?
I think it would be huge. The makeup and everything that goes into this show, everyone else is pretty easy unless they're bleach blonde for the zombie stuff. And then you take, I think, because you're the main star, a lot of the brunt of time and preparation for your role there. How much time are they spending stripping your hair?
It's a wig.
Oh, it is a wig.
It's a wig. So that part is wonderful because...
Do you have to cut your hair down to wear the wig?
No, I have it braided in the back and a wig cap. And the one difficult thing is I have a really sensitive scalp. I've got sensitive skin in general. And so normally with wigs, the way that you make them work is with dabs of glue on either side of your head. And if I put any of that glue, doesn't matter what kind, there's like medical glue that people use, it reacts. It completely reacts. So we have to do it without any
itching?
glue. Oh, it goes bright red like a hive. And if that happens on the
skin. So you're going into zombie mode?
I go into full-on zombie mode, basically. I just about do. I get so upset. But I have now, we've worked it out, so we do it with some pins and just various different ways. They've had to get pretty creative.
And what about your skin?
That's better. We just can't use the glue. Pins are okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely better than dyeing my hair. My hair would all fall out.
Because I was going to ask, is like, are you constantly stripping your hair? Because, at some point throughout all the weeks of shooting, your roots start coming back. Mm-hmm. So if you got the wig, I guess that solves that problem.
Exactly.
But what about dulling up your skin? Is it constant powder? Or?
Do you know what's concerning is we don't have to do too much to it these days.
Oh, okay.
I've been in Vancouver for 2 years, so I haven't seen the sun, and I'm not too far off actually looking like Liv. We had to...
Well, you're doing reverse Hollywood when they're always saying, get a trainer, tan, work out, look great. They're saying, stay inside,
like
do as
pasty.
You're like veal. Don't do as little as possible. Look
exactly.
like you're dying.
Yeah. and you're perfect. And that's perfect. No, I love it for that. I love it for not looking like every other character you see on television, and that she celebrates that she's like... She's not going and getting a spray tan like as she describes in the self-loathing zombies. She's embracing who she is.
I like that there's a hierarchy, that she's sticking her nose up at the people who are trying to look human.
Absolutely.
It's like, you were just human.
Yeah. But we're not now. And the one perk that we have is being able to not worry about that. I think, she rocks it. She looks like a kind of... I don't know, a hairband or something half the time.
This is a two-part question going in with the whole makeup and everything, costumes that you have to do for the show. So you're wearing the wig. They touch up your skin a little bit nowadays for making it pasty and looking sort of dead. Mm-hmm. What's the time to get all that together?
About an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes we can do it in, the whole look now. What's weirder is when I go undercover a couple of episodes back, and she's trying to look healthy, it actually took us an hour and 45 minutes to get me ready to look like a healthy, tanned, normal person with
Don't they just wash it off you and say go?
No, because I still looked dead, apparently. So they needed to warm me up.
Oh, man.
And put a bit of colour in my cheeks and everything. So it's a little embarrassing that it now takes me longer to look normal than it does look like a zombie.
So it's an hour and a half to get to the dulling of the skin and the wig. Mm-hmm. Now, I read somewhere recently that when Joss Whedon was making Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the vampires, when they would go into monster vampire mode, would take about an hour and a half. They'd have to cut the scene, do the whole makeup, and then continue. You're already in a costume, wig and makeup. Then when they put you in zombie mode, is that a lot of just special effects, or do they actually have to do more makeup and apply more stuff to you?
It actually depends on the scheduling. Certain days it'll be more convenient if there's a break in between. They'll go and do it practically, and we've done painted on veins with a makeup artist, but we also do red dots sometimes on my skin, and then they paint them in post. The contacts, I used to have to wear contacts in the show, the big giant red contacts, and they've now done those in post, which is just a godsend because you can't see anything through them, and sitting with those, trying to learn the lines for the next day, which you're constantly preparing in advance, it just was impossible. So I'm very glad that they do the eyes in post-production now.
The fight scenes are getting more intense. There's not holding back anymore. If something's going on, there's a knife, there's a broken bottle, there's a gun, and goes right to it. How are you as far as the action sequences? Are they making you do any kind of training just so that you don't hurt yourself?
I'm working all day, every day, and we have no rehearsal time at all. So basically, no. I work with the stunt coordinator. If there's something really significant, we have a great stunt double who was also my stunt double on Once Upon a Time. She was my Tinkerbell double, who's now doubling Liv, and she's fantastic. If there's anything that I feel really uncomfortable with, just does it.
She must love you because she's just going to go wherever your career goes. I'm the backup.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm so easy to replace. But I do enjoy the stunt sequences. I'm pretty active. I danced growing up, and it's a lot of fun to learn when you can and when there's enough time. Some of the fights and the choreography, I picked that up quite quickly, so I enjoy that. The
big 2-hour finale on the CW, end of season 2. What can you tell us about where we're going with this big finale here? I know your guys are going all out for the end of the season, and it's really going to set the tone for season 3. But Major's in jail right now, and you're asking what happened to Drake.
Yes. So Major is in jail. Ravi and I have been suspended from working at the morgue because they have found the Chaos Killer instruments at their house. So
wouldn't it be great if it was just you were stealing office supplies?
I know. Couldn't it just be a stapler? Couldn't it just be a stapler? So they're in pretty big trouble, but they still need access to brains for Liv and Major to eat. So it gets a little difficult because you have to go and cry on Blaine and his goons' shoulders trying to get hold of brains from the people that are brain dealers and who Liv has always judged. So the kind of the roles reverse all over the place in this episode, and in lots of ways with Babino, who finds himself in some pretty precarious situations. He is not the sort of powerful leader that he often is to Liv. She's able to kind of protect him in some ways. So there's all sorts that goes down. There are zombies everywhere. It's pretty full on. Anything super shocking? I know you can't reveal much, but there's something to look forward to. Oh, absolutely. The last sequence, when I read it in the script, I actually had like a jaw drop moment thinking, how on earth are we going to go into season 3 now? Because the game changes completely. There's some really big stuff that goes down. iZombie, the big season 2 finale, is available on CW On Demand. You can also go to iTunes and Amazon, get the season pass, or download the episode individually if you haven't seen it. I've had a problem with CW On Demand because they never put all the episodes up. It's always so random. So I've been getting them off of iTunes. I got the season pass. For some reason, my DVR stopped recording. Oh, no. So I'm a little bit behind, but I just got it all off iTunes, so I'm catching up. So definitely check that out. Season 3, really excited to hear about that. Do you think you'll do a musical episode? I have been plugging for that. Because you guys have been working, singing, and songs in every now and then. I'm just steadily chipping away at it. Hopefully they cave and let us do it. David Anders and I both are dying to do a full musical episode. That'd be awesome. Like Zombie on Broadway. Yeah, we're like, they let them do it on Xena. Come on. They're like, it was season 7. Every show does a musical episode now, so why should you guys be different? Season 3. Come on, guys. You've got your pace. You have the audience. The advertisers are there. The network's happy. Let's do a musical. Let's do it. What's stopping us? And finally, the most pining question here. Any chance that you'll ever return as Tinkerbell on Once Upon a Time? There is. Interestingly, Rob Thomas, our showrunner, is very good friends with Adam and Eddie, the showrunners on Once Upon a Time. So we've kind of tried to negotiate and barter between, I want Jen Morrison to do iZombie. I'm like, if she can come do iZombie, then you guys can let me out and I can go do Once Upon a Time. We've talked about all sorts of ways to make it work. I would love to. I really enjoyed playing Tinkerbell, and I think that's definitely on the cards. We're just hoping to work out when it can happen soon. Rose, I'm out of time with you, unfortunately. Again, next time you're in New York, let's make it a 3-peat here and have you come back for season 3. I'd love it. Hat trick. Are you going to be at San Diego? I will. All right, we're going to be down there too. Maybe we can work it out and do something on the floor there. I'll definitely see you there. Send her some love on social media. The letter I, the letter M, Rose McIver, MCIVER. On Twitter. It's also for Instagram, right? Exactly. And the big 2-hour finale for iZombie was this Tuesday. Make sure you go and check CW On Demand if you missed it, or you can go to iTunes and Amazon and purchase it there. Thank you so much. Rose, thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you next time. See you soon.